asked me to come down. Who the hell asked you to come down here?
Did anybody force you down here?
Who the hell asked you to come down here, Art?
I came down here on my own free will.
Well, so did I. It's America,
I
Art.
don't come down here and condemn everything in Florida.
Oh, well, maybe you should, Art, because you sound to me like you're part of the problem in Florida. You're a jerk that doesn't hear what's said.
Why don't you go back to wherever you came from, Bob?
Why don't you go back to wherever you came from? You're the one who seems to be malcontent.
Like old Mike Levine.
Yeah, what about old Mike Levine?
He came down here and bashed everything in Florida.
Uh-huh.
The old sorry devil went back to Pittsburgh sooner or later, didn't he?
Yeah, for triple the money that they paid him here.
Well, they should wait for their change.
Oh, I see.
Bye, Bob.
Oh, get off my phone. Good grief. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, you gutless wonders. 461-9352 in Pinellas.
Here's a tip for travelers.
Don't even live in town. Don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I mean, come on, boys and girls. Just think. Just think of the pride and pleasure when you get down to the Elks Hall tonight and say, hey, I called up that Lassiter and told him what for. And your friends say things like, I'll bet he ripped you to shreds, didn't he? And you say, well, yeah, but I told him what for nonetheless, huh? 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. I mean, the adrenaline is pumping now. The adrenaline is pumping. This is what I want to do today. After Art in Lakeland, I am really ready for it. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn because you are the ones who will have to sit there like jerks on the weekends calling poor old Savin' Sam and poor old Lizards and poor old Loman's Plaza or whatever his name is and trying to explain to him what it is that you're distressed with about Lassiter. You people are sick. Sick, 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 sick. Bum, 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 bum. If I were you, I'd go over and draw the curtains on the windows because, if you've got your radio on and your next door neighbors can hear it and they know how you feel about me and they know that you're not calling, you'll be terribly, terribly embarrassed. So if I were you, go over and draw the drapes and sit there and cower in the darkness. At least somebody realizes what you are. Remember, the first 3 elderly women that call will be treated politely. There's one. Mike in Land O'Lakes. Mike, you're on the air at WFLA.
Oh, hi, Bob.
Hi.
Listen, I've been gone for a couple of weeks, and I got back. I just have a couple questions to ask you. I hope if you don't want to answer, you don't have to.
This is Lassiter bashing, of course.
I know. Well, it is in a regard, but my first question is, whatever happened to David Fowler?
That has nothing to do with Lassiter bashing. Same to you, fella. May in St. Petersburg. May, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
I've got many complaints, but one of them is when you talk about the brain-dead snowbirds, because some people have people in their homes that have a bad affliction like that, and I'm sure it disturbs them terribly.
I'm sure there aren't too many listeners who have brain-dead people at home.
Well, in different phases, and it brings back memories to some, I'm sure. But anyway, and then when you...
well, when I talk about sex, it probably brings back memories to some, too.
Yeah, well, that's probably good memories.
Vague distance memories.
And then I don't like either when you bash my religion, which is once in a while, and that's Catholicism. That really upsets me, and I immediately turn you off. But otherwise, you're wonderful. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Ed in St. Petersburg. Ed, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, I think you better go back on Nutrisystem or something. You turn into a real candy ass.
Oh, how's that?
Well, you used to be a lot meaner. Now, it's like anytime somebody calls you up, they just tear you up.
Yeah, well, I get torn up all the time.
Huh?
I get torn up all the time. And you don't even listen anymore.
That's what I'm telling you.
And you don't even listen anymore.
Well, I do. I
know you do. You're lying through your teeth.
Well, I'm one of your fans, but, I'm just losing interest because, you used to have balls, but now it's like, you're more like Jack Ellery or Dick Norman or something.
Oh, yeah, just like them, yeah.
They're a bunch of wimps. Sam McClellan, you know what I mean? I just wanted to let you know you're just losing your touch, Bob.
Oh, okay, Ed.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Albert in Clearwater. Albert, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
For he's a jolly fat fellow, for he's a jolly...
No, we said bashing, not trying to impress your friends. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas County. Your chance, yes indeed, your chance to be, well, eaten alive, but that's besides the point. If, of course, you have the courage. Did you listen to the radio over the weekend, Flack? You would have been astonished. I mean, it was almost impossible to go 3 minutes without hearing my name on anybody's show. I particularly felt sorry for this poor guy coming into town to audition. Lassiter? Who the hell's Lassiter? Good grief. Why do people call me about Lassiter? Hello, Joe. Love your show. Love the sound of your voice. That Lassiter, Joe. I mean, last Tuesday, Lassiter said, and then on Wednesday, I don't listen, of course, anymore, Joe. But then on Thursday show, Joe. Hell, these people call Larry King and complain about me. Let's listen in. Oh, now they hung up. Okay. Really kind of ticking them off a little bit out there, that I'm calling a spade a spade. Yeah, it's too bad. It's getting quite a number of off-the-air bashing calls, but they're afraid to come on the air. I don't blame them. Hey, I don't blame them. Here's one. John in a car phone. Hi there, John. Bash away. Here's one. John in a car phone. Hi there, John. Bash away.
I think you're a low-life sleaze bucket.
Oh, why's that, John? John, would you care to elaborate on that? I guess John wouldn't. What the hell? He only spent $1.35. I guess that's all the poor guy has. Have you ever been able to put together two sentences?
That were born from one bitch, and that's what your wife is.
we all know that, but have you ever been able to put together two sentences at one time?
Your breath smells like your rear end, too.
Well, why don't you come over here and smell it? Bob 2 in Tampa. You're on the air at WFLA. Hello there, Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
I think he's tied to a tree and set you on fire.
Yeah, how come? Okay, he's another guy that can't put together two sentences. Mark in Palm Harbor. Mark, you're on there at WFLA.
Hey, Bob, how you doing today?
Fine.
That guy that was calling about the complaints about you ranking on the people from up north. And on
did you call to bash me?
Did I call to bash you?
Right.
Isn't that what you want?
That's right.
Yeah, I got to bash you, man.
Okay.
You really wimped out with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be so tough as nails, but lately...
Get off my phone. Woodrow in Palmetto. Woodrow, you're on the air at WFLA.
Mr. Lassiter, Reverend Woodrow Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling from Palmetto, Florida.
Well, that's too bad. You wasted all your money. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 990-WFLA. In Pinellas County, 461-9352, 461-WFLA. This is not a show for the young studs who want to be radio stars. No. This is a show for legitimate people who have to waste their weekends, waste their entire weekends calling other people to complain about me when they could do it right here during the week when they're wasting their time anyway, right here on the radio station with legitimate Lassiter bashing. Yes, sir. If, of course, you have the courage, which I suspect that you don't. I strongly suspect that you don't. Okay. Oh, a couple of more. Great. Like I said, don't misunderstand. This is not a show for young studs who want to be radio stars. Lois in Holiday. Lois, you're on the air at WFLA.
Mr. Lassiter.
Yes.
This is Lois from Holiday. I talked to you last January when you had that psychic on the air.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to call you today and say I still love your show.
Well, Lois, you don't follow directions, and you will get the short shaft there. Victoria in Tampa. Victoria, you're on the air, WFLA.
Yes, Bob.
Yeah.
This is Victoria from Tampa.
Uh-huh.
And you got to promise me you won't be rude to me.
Like I said, it's not a show for young studs who want to be radio stars. Louise in Tampa. Louise, you're on the air, WFLA.
Hello?
Yeah.
Boy, you know something? You bark as good as your dog does today, Robert.
Uh-huh.
Really? No joke.
Did you have some Lassiter bashing, Louise?
Huh?
I guess not. Okay, 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. The numbers to put you on the air for Lassiter bashing so you won't have to trouble all of those other poor talk show hosts. Alan in Clearwater. Alan, you're on the air, WFLA.
Bob, you know that guy that called in Friday for a date? They pulled him out of the river yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Well, you should have checked the paper. That guy that was
I did check the paper.
in Tampa Tribune.
Actually, I do more than check the paper. I actually read it.
Tampa Metro section. They showed him pulling his body out.
Yeah, so what's that got to do with Lassiter bashing?
Well, I think that's a shame that you let a guy advertise solicit on your radio, then he ends up dead in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't feel like bashing you today.
Oh. What's the matter, can't you?
Huh? I don't listen to you that much, though.
Oh, of course not.
I'm going to tune over to the next show on the other station.
Yeah, tune over right at your service, of course.
Huh? What's that?
You heard me. I'll be damned if I'm going to help you buy time. To think of responses, you know.
Right. Why are always your shows geared towards bashing?
They're not.
Well, it seems like they are.
I thought you didn't listen that much.
When I do, it's always the same
when you
stuff.
do, I see.
It's always bashing or finding fault with the whites and sticking up for the blacks or sticking up for the homosexuals. Or, dial hate.
Mm-hmm.
So the shows are always geared towards hate. Why don't you take a...
But you don't listen very much.
John Eastman show.
Right.
How professional he is?
Oh, God, I'd love a 0.5 rating.
Though?
Professional what?
He's a professional talk show host.
Professional to be unemployed.
Everything's clean and classy.
Mm-hmm.
We may not get a ton of calls like you do, but they're quality calls.
Well, then how can you switch over here at noon when John goes off if this is so bad?
John goes off in the morning.
Yeah, I know. I said he goes off at noon, so how can you switch over here at noon?
Well, I just want to see what your lineup was, but it's not very good. So
so you stuck around for 37 minutes. 37 minutes you stuck around.
Art Snow is on the other station.
That's right. Art Snow on the other station.
You like him?
570.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. You don't like anybody.
Does a great show. It's called At Your Surface. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Think dining rooms are still relevant in today's America?
Well, hey, he's got a pretty good show.
Oh, sure. That's why you listen to this one.
Well,
Uh-huh.
I like...
You got caught, Alan. I mean, come on, man. You got caught with your pants down. You're a lying two-bit good for nothing.
Oh, you're better than me, right?
Obviously, Alan. I got the job. Carl in St. Petersburg. Carl, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah.
Stop hanging up the phone on people for crying out.
Vince in Tampa, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, Vince.
Hey, I called to bash you, but first of all, I'd like to say I enjoy your show.
Well, thank you, Vince. John in Pinellas Park. John, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, I've got a problem.
I'll bet.
That chili recipe you sent me?
Didn't send you any chili recipe.
Yeah, I mailed away for it. It sucked.
Uh-huh. Well, it wasn't mine.
Oh, well, I got another problem.
Uh-huh. I'll bet.
You know when you used to talk about country and western music all the time?
Yeah.
With Lionel?
Uh-huh.
How come you never talked about Johnny Paycheck?
I don't know. 990-93.
Hello, Dick. I love your show. That Lassiter, Dick, let me tell you about what he did yesterday.
Just kind of a public service for them. One line open in each county. In Hillsborough, 990-9352. In Pinellas, 461-9352. Mark in Tampa. Mark, you're on the air at WFLA. Marky chickened out. He didn't seem like the kind of guy, did he? Glenn at a payphone. Hi, Glenn. You're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, I got two things to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you'll listen to both of them. I don't know. You might cut me off. First thing I think is wrong with your show, and you personally, is your ego.
Me personally? You know me personally, Glenn?
I know you from the show.
No, you don't.
Personality.
No, you don't know me from the show.
Your radio personality.
Mm-hmm.
You're so stuck. I remember all this Murphy in the Morning business you had. It seems like it's always something. Somebody writes something in the newspaper. It's your ego. It's always always going to be pushed. But that's not my big bash.
Yeah.
My big bash, what I complain the most about you is you don't, I like somebody with integrity. I don't believe you have any.
Oh, how's that, Glenn?
Because I want you to be honest with the people. Let's tell the people exactly who we are.
Oh, I do, Glenn.
Okay, well, let me go over a few of the things.
Glenn, Glenn, let me ask two questions before you do that. One, have you ever met me? Have you ever met me, yes or no, Glenn?
No, I thought about it.
Do you know anybody who knows me personally, Glenn?
Do I know anybody who knows you personally?
Yes.
No, sir, no.
Okay, with those two questions out of the way, now let's get down to yours.
Okay. I think that I've been listening to your show about 6 months. You deceived people, or you deceived me into thinking you were more or less an honest person.
Now, let's see, you just admitted that you don't know me, nor do you know anybody who does know me, but you're going to accuse me of being dishonest. Okay, go ahead, Glenn.
Radio. I'm talking radio.
Yeah, how's that, Glenn?
I'm not talking, okay. These are the things that you believe in, and I think you ought to be man enough to say, hey, I'm a liberal, and I believe in this, and don't monkey around with things.
Glenn, I spend every day telling you precisely what I feel and how I think.
There's a lot of people that listen to you that I don't think really understand where you're coming from.
Oh, where am I coming from, Glenn?
Well, you're against God, you're against Christ, you're against the Bible.
No, I'm not against God. I am against the Bible.
You don't believe it. Or you think it's all hope.
No, I don't believe in your God, Glenn. That's one of the freedoms that we enjoy in this country is to believe in our own God. We don't have to believe in someone else's.
The people who listen to you realize that that's what you're telling people. You're just, I don't know where you get your, it must be just, I don't know, Philadelphia. I don't know where you get these liberal thoughts. But we got to get people on that show that's going to give equal time.
Well, you see, Glenn, a belief in God has nothing whatsoever to do with politics. It's one of the great problems in this country today. Guys like you seem to think that it does.
Well, my main complaint is people say they're going to vote for George Bush. You think they're idiots.
Yes, I do.
You think they're crazy. Well, I'll tell you one reason why I'm going to vote for George Bush, and it only has this one reason, because of the abortion issue.
Oh.
That would key. I don't care if he was black, white. I don't care if it was anybody. I would vote for the people that are against killing babies.
Uh-huh.
And do you know when?
Well, you know there's not a damn thing he can do about it, don't you, Glenn?
Well, do you know when life?
You know there's not a damn thing that he can do about it, don't you, Glenn?
There's not a damn thing I can do about it.
No, I said there's not a damn thing that he can do about it, and you know that, don't you, Glenn?
Well, at least he says he's against it.
Oh, he says he's against it. That's amazing. Do you know what else he says, Glenn? Says he's in favor of raising your taxes and lowering his.
Raising my taxes? That's the Democrats that raise taxes. That's the people you like. That's the people you're supporting. You're supporting the
No, I don't support Democrats, Glenn. I support people that tell me the truth, and I support people that don't want to lower the taxes of the wealthy at the expense of the poor.
Because his wife believes in astrology. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I think it's pretty stupid, too.
You want to impeach the president because his wife does something.
I beg your pardon, Glenn, I beg your pardon. I have never, under any circumstances or conditions, called for the impeachment of the president.
You came on that one.
Glenn, I have never, under any circumstances or conditions, called for the impeachment of the president. Have I, Glenn? Have I, Glenn? Have I, Glenn?
Okay, I'll say no, but here's
Well, thank you, Glenn. Now that you're finally telling the truth, we'll go on to someone else. Steve in Safety Harbor. Steve, you're on the air at WFLA.
You know, you're disgusting. You know, when you worked at the other radio station, you bragged about all the black chicks you went to bed with.
No, I've only gone to bed with one.
Well, you made it sound like you went to a bunch with minorities there.
No, I didn't, and I don't recall bragging about it. I simply mentioned it.
For that.
No, I don't believe I bragged about it. I simply mentioned it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your wife think of that?
What does she think of what?
You sleeping with blacks.
I don't know. I've never asked her.
Never told her either, right?
I believe I have.
Disgusting.
Oh.
You're a communist, aren't you?
No.
You're not?
No, I'm a
You're always
Republican.
against America.
Not against America.
I mean, you sure sound like it.
No, I'm against stupid Americans.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, stupid Americans who say things like how disgusting it is to go to bed with a black person. Let's go to Michael in Indian Rocks Beach or something like that. Michael couldn't hold on either. Son of a gun. Cleveland and Tampa. Hi there, Cleveland. You're on the air, WFLA.
This isn't Cleveland. This is Joe. Your help must be wrong. Anyway, this is Bash Lassiter format, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, I just read your horoscope this morning. I want to let people know that you and Cleveland were Siamese twins joined at the butt when you were born.
Uh-huh.
And the doctor slapped your mama when you were born.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Frog. Hey, Dino. Bob, you're a pig. You know that?
Yeah, I'm a pig, but I don't have to call up somebody else's radio show to say hello to them. I've got my very own. I can say hello to anybody I want to without having to stand like a fool on hold. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. It is Bash Lassiter Day, your big opportunity. Indeed, your very, very big opportunity to bash Lassiter on the radio without having to hassle some poor other radio slob. I mean, come on. These poor people that work on the weekends. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. Too many inmates, or Hillsborough, the number, yeah, that's what it is. The number is 990-9352. I get so excited when we do Lassiter bashing. Gene in Kenneth City. Gene, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hello, Mr. Lassiter.
Yeah.
I must tell you that I don't ever believe you've ever read a newspaper in your life.
Oh, really, Gene?
The only truism I get out of any commentaries that you have had to make in the past 6 months would have to be that come from a bathroom wall.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I believe you have the job there that you have is specifically because WFLA cannot find anybody else that will take that job for that low pay that you're getting.
Right.
And, Mr. Lassiter,
yeah,
on a final note, I would like to say one thing.
Very good, Gene. With the first part of the call, I thought you were a total idiot. But at least there's a wee bit of hope. That was relatively clever, Gene, relatively clever. Of course, the first part of the conversation made no sense whatsoever. But then, Gene, I tend to suspect you don't make any sense in life. 990-9352 in Hillsborough. One line open in Pinellas at 461-9352. Dolores in Clearwater. Dolores, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yes, I just want to tell you that I don't think you're that hot. You have a following, but you'll never be a Wally Phillips.
I'll never be a Wally Phillips. I would certainly hope not, Dolores.
Well, Wally Phillips is great. I never missed him when I lived up there, and I miss him, and I don't care that much about you.
Don't you have somebody up there that could tape shows for Wally and send them to you?
Pardon?
Don't you have any friends up there who could tape shows of Wally and send them to you?
I go up there on vacation, and I don't miss him when I'm up there on vacation.
Son of a gun.
He used to play beautiful songs for us.
Funny, I was talking to him just the other day, and he said he didn't miss you either.
He'd strip in the morning, and he'd play Big Bad Leroy Brown, and he'd play Ehrlichman, Halderman, Mitchell and Dean, the meanest men you ever seen.
Well, let me play something for you. Dolores, you were certainly correct in pointing out that I am not like Wally Phillips. I do not, as a general rule of thumb, appeal to people who don't have their own teeth. Mark in Clearwater. Mark, you're on the air, WFLA.
Well, that's a tough one to follow, Bob.
Well, what can I say?
What I'd like to talk to you about is, in the past, a couple of years ago, I heard the most touching, beautiful bit of journalism ever done and I've ever heard. And that was when you did the piece where you're a young teenager taking care of the alcoholic, the friend that you had.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish you'd do a little bit more of that once in a while.
Well, that was a different time and a different place, Mark.
But it was one.
I used to talk about soap operas, too. You don't talk about soap operas when they're on. You talk about them when you work at night.
Yeah. Well, if you can do something like that once in a while, it'd be great.
Well, I won't be working at night, Mark.
Okay, Bob.
Take care. Jim in Tampa. Jim, you're on the air at WFLA.
Mr. Lassiter.
Yeah.
What's the problem today?
I haven't any problem today. How about you?
What is it that you heard somebody else bash you on the weekend or something, and you have to come back at everybody else?
What do you mean come back at everybody else? I'm not coming back at anybody else.
Your following's not gonna continue. I think that
following is not going to continue?
I think that everybody out there should call the authority, the department, to get you off the air.
Call what department?
the FAA or whatever department that oversees
Federal Aviation Administration.
Because you're not doing anything good for WFLA. WFLA is an excellent program. I don't know why the management keeps you on.
You don't?
No.
Well, it's very simple. There's a guy named Randy Michaels.
Disgusting.
There's a guy named Randy Michaels who is the vice president in charge of programming for this company. I have some pictures of him in a sheet, a compromising position, and that's why I stay on.
You know something? It must have, a lot of people have a lot of good things to do with their lives, and it must have taken you some real intelligence to stand there and when your garbage truck came by and you recorded it.
Well, that's not exactly how I got it, Jim. This may come as a great surprise to you, but believe it or not, you can buy such sound effects where somebody else stands there with a microphone and records it and then sells it to someone like myself for a great deal of money. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. Perhaps you, too, would like to be part of the stellar lineup this afternoon, right here on the radio station, saying such incredibly intelligent things as,
you stood out in front of your house with a microphone and recorded your garbage truck, or I don't think you ever read a newspaper in your entire life.
You, too can be counted amongst the luminaries who have taken part in this program this afternoon simply by picking up the telephone and dialing 990-9352. That's if you're in Hillsborough County. You do know which county Hillsborough is, don't you? Of course you do. Or in Pinellas at 461-9352. And if you're a little bit mixed up as to which county you're in, just dial one of those numbers, and if they come on and say you have to dial a 1 first, then you know that you should dial the other number. Mike in Sarasota. Mike, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hello, Dick. How are you?
Great, Mike.
How you been?
Great.
Good.
Mike is so stupid he doesn't know who he's listening to, and he thinks that for some bizarre reason that should insult me. Come on, Mike. I mean, come on, Mike. You've heard real pros try to insult me. You think that's going to do the trick? Oh, Mike, you silly boy. Linda in Tampa. Linda, you're on the air at WFLA.
You know what?
Yeah, I do.
I think this show is totally ridiculous, and it should be get off the air now.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's too bad, Linda. It's not going off the air now.
Well,
Be on for another 2 hours and 2 minutes.
You talk about the dumbest things, and it's really annoying.
Well, that's amazing, Linda. I don't ever recall hearing your voice when I was talking about things that weren't dumb.
You know what?
What are you laughing about, Linda? It happens to be the truth, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is the truth, Linda. I've never heard your voice before on this program.
Oh, you're humiliating.
Oh, I'm humiliating? What the hell does that mean? You're humiliated? You ought to be, Linda, because you've never taken part in a serious program. All you can do is call up and say incredibly stupid things like, I think this show should be taken off the air immediately. Where the hell were you when we talked about Jesse Jackson, Linda? Where the hell were you when we talked about drugs? Where the hell were you when we talked about anything of substance? Do you want to know, Linda? I'll tell you where you were. You were sitting home looking at your radio saying, gee, I wish I had a thought inside my head so I could take part. Get off my phone, Linda. You're a jerk. Dina in Clearwater. Dina, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just calling to say that I think that the man that called and told you were discussing for sleeping with black people was really
This is bashing Lassiter, Dina. Remember that. Bashing Lassiter. It's very important to follow the rules on the program. Must follow the rules, Dina, or otherwise you'll waste your time. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. 6 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock. Welcome back. Hour number 2 on this Tuesday, May the 24th, 1988. Yes, it's true. What you've heard is true. It's an old-fashioned Lassiter bash right here on the radio this afternoon. Now, it can work one of two ways. You can either legitimately try to take me to task for something that I've said, a position that I have, whatever it might be, or you can try to insult me, in which case we shall do our best to get even with you, or actually we shall do our best to top you, which is usually a piece of cake. There are no lines open in Pinellas right now. Pity-poo, all the Pinellas lines are full. However, there are 3 of them open in Hillsborough at 990-9352, 990-WFLA. Phil in Palm Harbor. Phil, you're on the air at WFLA. Phil couldn't hold on. Pity-poo, Phil, pity-poo. Jenny in St. Petersburg. Jenny, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
Hi.
You know you're responsible for one more family on the welfare roll.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, thanks to you, you know, your stupid show on Friday, you make me feel guilty because none of the women are participating. So I go ahead, and just because I feel guilty, because, you know, you duped me into this, you know, I turn around, I enter your stupid T-shirt contest, then I don't get one vote, right? My husband comes home, I feel bad. I said, Glenn, you know, not one person voted for me. I entered this wet T-shirt contest, and he looked at me and said, you know, he said, you're right. He said, they are terrible. I'm sick of looking at them, and he laughed at me.
No, Jenny, that's a sad, sad story. It really, really breaks my heart. Frank and Lutz. Frank, you're on the air, WFLA.
Good afternoon, Bob.
Good afternoon, Frank.
Bob, I have you figured out. I had a private detective follow you for about a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Another two-faced
Here's what
liar.
we found, Bob. I found out that you are really an ultra-conservative. You actually are a Baptist minister.
Frank, this is as boring can possibly be. Bill make that Billy in Clearwater. Billy, you're on the air, WFLA.
How you doing, Bob?
Fine, Billy.
You want to hear what I don't like about your show?
Sure.
Bob, you talk about money all the time. You talk about how much you make, how much you make, how much you make. People don't care to hear about that, Bob.
Sure they do.
No, they don't.
Sure they do.
That don't have any...
Really pisses them off.
Bob, that don't help anybody hearing how much you make. How much do you
I'm not here to help anybody.
How much do you make?
None of your business.
You can't take the heat, can you, Bob? You hear other people talk bad about you during the week.